want to do the right things for our community.
I think they know.
Hear those little stories. Wow. Somebody. Punch yourselves off. You don't need to make it any tougher than it is. Yeah. That.
That's a given.
Yeah.
Good evening. Buenas noches.
Buenas noches.
Tonight we have a full board meeting, but first let's have Boyd Elementary School's third grade student Ashley Rodriguez lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ashley. And now, Mrs. Christina Cortez, third grade class, will perform the songs I Think You're Wonderful, followed by Hooray for the World.
Don't we have to adjourn closed session?
I think you're wonderful when somebody says that to me. I feel wonderful, as wonderful can be. It makes me want to say the same thing to somebody new. And by the way, I've been meaning to say, I think you're wonderful too. When we practice this phrase in the most honest way, we find something special in someone each day. We lift up the world one heart at a time. It all starts by saying this one simple line. I think you're wonderful. When somebody says that to me, I feel wonderful, as wonderful can be. It makes me want to say the same thing to somebody new. And by the way, I've been meaning to say, I think you're wonderful too. When each one of us feels important inside, loving and giving and glad we're alive. Oh, what a difference we'll make in each day, all because someone decided to say, I think you're wonderful. When somebody says that to me, I feel wonderful, as wonderful can be. It makes me want to say the same thing to somebody new. And by the way, I've been meaning to say, I think you're wonderful too. why the way I've been meaning to say, I think you're wonderful. Hooray for the world, glad to be honored. Hooray for the world, glad to be honored. Hooray for the world, it's a special place we got. Mother Nature and the human race. The world's got buffalo, the world's got bees, the world's got jellyfish swimming in the sea. We got beavers and bears, bats and bugs, miniature pools and slimy old slugs. So hooray for the world, glad to be honored. Hooray for the world, glad to be honored. Hooray for the world, it's a special place we got. Mother Nature and the human race. The world's got salami, the world's got cheese. We got maple syrup and mulberries. We got egg bouillon, bagels and lox, corn on the cob and raisins in a box. So hooray for the world, I'm glad to be honored. Hooray for the world, I'm glad to be honored. Hooray for the world, it's a special place we got. Mother Nature and the human race. We got moms and dads, uncles and aunts, brothers, sisters, grandmas and grands. We got neighbors next door, kids down the street. Everywhere we go, we got new friends to meet. Oh, hooray for the world, I'm glad to be honored. Hooray for the world, I'm glad to be honored. Hooray for the world, it's a special place we got. Mother Nature and the human race. So hooray for the world, I'm glad to be honored. Hooray for the world, I'm glad to be honored. Hooray for the world, it's a special place we got. Mother Nature and the human race.
You guys rocked it.
One more round of applause for Mrs. Cortez's third grade class. We want to also thank our parent, guardians, teacher, and administrators for supporting our talented students. So let's give them a round of applause also. Thank you. All right. It's always important for us to get the kids home to finish homework and dinner and all that. So we don't always follow the steps here, but we'll go ahead and adjourn closed session there. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn closed session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Open session's been reconvened, 7:13. Do we have a report out of closed session?
We do. We have one item. The Board of Education accepted the administrative appointment of Paulette Koss, Executive Director, Special Education. The roll call vote was unanimous.
Do we have anything else?
No, sir.
All right, thank you. Next up, we will be swearing in our newly elected student board member. So at this time, please, Natalie Baca, come on up to the podium. Before I administer the oath of office, I'd like to share some information about Natalie, who's a senior at Carter High School. Natalie is a lifelong Rialto resident, was born to Anthony and Mary. She has one brother, Joshua, who attends Kolb Middle School, and 2 sisters, Jessica, who also attends Kolb Middle School, and Christina, who is a college graduate. Natalie attended Trapp Elementary and Kolb Middle Schools. After graduating from Carter High School, she plans to graduate college and become a lawyer. Her favorite subject is English. She loves to play softball, cheer for the Anaheim Angels, and volunteer at Sunrise Church. Welcome, Natalie. We hope to get to know more of you as you serve your position. Do I have the oath over there? I'm not sure.
That's it, okay.
You have it, Edgar? Here's one here.
I got it. Okay. Let's see here. Maybe you should stand over here. All righty. I've been sworn in twice on that side, so I know you got to kind of stand over there. All right. Do you, Natalie Baca, solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, that you will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States of America and to the State of California, that you take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that you will well and faithfully discharge the duties about to which you're about to enter?
Yes, I do.
All right. With this oath, you are now seated officially as a member of the Rialto Unified School District Board of Education. Natalie, we normally have, all right. We normally have a section in the agenda for us to give our comments, but since you might have family and friends here, I think it'd be fair to go ahead and give her some time to, if you'd like to say anything, you could do so now instead of having to wait till the end.
So first off, I would like to say thank you for this opportunity. It was a long process to be able to get the position, but I'm glad I finally did, and I'm glad I get to represent Rialto District. Thank you.
All right. Next, we go to adoption of the agenda for tonight. We do have one correction. Looks like that needs to be made. And it's to correct the reference number on page 6 of the agenda for item K3. The reference number should read reference K 3.1 on page 6. Rather than reference K 3.1 through 9, scratch out that 9 and just leave it 3.1 on page 6 for item K3. The little reference with parentheses there on the bottom corner.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a typo. Staff's holding me to it. I always used to point them out. Now they want to correct them all the time. No, we want to make sure we do the minutes properly, so we got to make those corrections. Thank you, Rosie. With the correction made, do we have a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
Move to approve the agenda?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Preferential vote by student board member? Okay. Next we go to item C. No, I'm sorry. We go to B, presentations. Tonight we have a special presentation, and let me go to the podium again here for this. Familia Pimentel. Tonight, the Rialto Unified School District, it is our pleasure to present a honorable, is it titled?
Posthumous.
Posthumous high school diploma to one of our recently deceased students. A special person named Julie Pimentel. She was born July 26, 1996, as the second oldest daughter to Raul and Olga Pimentel. Julie, who attended Casey Elementary School, developed ovarian cancer at the age of 7. She was a product of the Rialto Unified School District, but in-home hospital during most of her Rialto middle school days. She attended school for 2 years at Rialto High School. Julie passed on September 8, 2015. Soon after, Casey Elementary School held a fundraiser. Casey Elementary teacher Mrs. Betty Jones remembered her loving student. Quote, "Her determination was contagious. As a teacher, she brought an excitement to my room," recalled Mrs. Jones. "I think what I loved about Julie the most was that she was always willing to help students. She loved to play school even in the classroom. She would use the same words that I would say and be sure to raise her voice at the right place and give a look that said, 'I am in charge.' Mom said that she would do the same thing at home with the family. She loved arts and crafts projects. During holiday times, after completing her gift for her parents, Julie would have her sisters come back after school to make something so that she could make another one. Looking back, Julie's perseverance and outlook on life has taught me many things. She has taught me never to give up and to look at life as a gift. And when the world knocks you down, you get back up and fight. You fight with all the life that you have inside you. So tonight, I want to thank the Rialto Unified School District Board of Education for the gift of generosity. And I'm honored to have played a small part in Julie's life. And it is a great honor to be loved by and to be part of the Pimentel family. I would also like to thank the principal, teachers, and support staff of both Casey and Rialto High Schools for being here. On behalf of the Rialto Unified School District and its Board of Education, I believe we owe Mr. Ayala the honor. Mr. Ayala, could you please come to the podium here? Thank you. Thank you first and foremost.
On behalf of the Rialto Unified School District and its Board of Education, I certify that Julie Pimentel has met the requirements by the state of California to receive her full high school diploma.
Sure, sure. Please come on up, please.
And if it's okay, if Ms. Jones? If everybody can get a little bit closer. And everybody's got the pictures out, so I'm gonna let you all take your pictures first. Go ahead, please. Hands up. I'm gonna do this again. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, and one more keepsake family. My resolution. And
Thank you, Mr. Ayala. I think I read most of the stuff you were supposed to read, but I don't think anyone will hold it against me. Just would like to give a few minutes to the Pimental family here. I just want to say that thank you to the Casey teachers who have really been by this family's side every step of the way. These teachers, these staff members at Casey, are hurting just as much as this family, and our thoughts and prayers are with you too. And thank you for everything you've done for Julie and for this family. Gonna let them share a few words.
Buenas tardes. Yo quiero agradecer
I would like to give my thanks
de todo corazón
from all my heart
a la familia de Casey,
and the Casey family,
que es mi familia,
that is my family,
y a los miembros del distrito,
and the district members,
a todas las personas que tuvieron algo que ver con mi hija.
and everyone that has something to do with my daughter.
Yo sé que ella tuvo un camino duro que recorrer.
Had a difficult and very hard path to go through.
Dios lo quiso así
God wanted it that way,
y Él ahora se la quiso llevar por alguna razón.
for some reason He took her with her.
Yo les agradezco de todo corazón y deseo bendiciones para toda su familia.
And I thank everyone from the bottom of my heart, and I just want blessings for all the families.
Y yo sé que de algún lugar donde ella esté, ella lo está agradeciendo también porque ustedes ustedes saben lo que ella quería la escuela, lo que los maestros significaban para ella. Quiero que sepan que cada una de las personas que cruzaron por la vida de ella las tuvo siempre en su mente. Y yo les quiero agradecer de todo corazón por eso, a todas las personas que tuvieron que ver en nuestra vida. Gracias.
Yo nomás quiero dar las gracias porque sé que tenemos una familia. Todo el distrito. Gracias.
Thank you.
Next, we go to comments, section C. On the agenda, item 1, public comments from the floor. At this time, any person wishing to speak on any item not on the agenda will be granted 3 minutes.
We have three. First, we have Magdalena Benitez.
Buenas tardes
Buenas tardes.
a miembros del distrito.
Members of the district.
Esta tarde yo estoy aquí
And this afternoon, I'm here
para levantar mi voz
to raise my voice
por todos esos niños que no pueden hablar
for behalf of all those children that are unable to speak
porque tienen miedo a una señora
because they are afraid of a lady
que trabaja en la escuela de ellos.
that she works in their school.
Estoy hablando de la escuela Hubings.
And I'm referring to the school hearings.
Hubings? I'm sorry. Esta señora
And this a lady,
trabaja en la cafetería,
she works in the cafeteria
atendiendo a los niños a la hora de su comida,
and she's assisting the children during lunch hour,
tratándoles como si fueran militares o si fueran reos.
she's treating them like slaves or like military.
Inmates. I'm sorry, inmates.
O como si, okay, like if they were inmates, sorry for the.
Es algo que no se me hace justo porque esto ha pasado por años.
And I don't think this is just because this has been happening for many years.
Nosotros hemos hecho esta queja por 3 años
They've been bringing this complaint forward for 3 years
y no se ha hecho nada.
and nothing has been done.
He oído que hay padres que han estado por mucho más tiempo y por la misma persona.
And I understand that there's parents that have been doing so regarding the same person,
Quejándose por la misma persona
regarding the same person
por más tiempo.
for a lot longer.
Yo quiero saber hasta cuándo esta persona va a estar en su haciendo su trabajo con tal agresividad en contra de los niños.
And I'd like to know how long she's going to get along to be arrested with the children.
Sí. Es triste ver cuando los niños, especialmente, tengo una niña que es muy sensible.
And I have a child that's very sensitive. Hear me?
Okay.
I'm trying to see if you could share.
Tengo una niña, es muy sensible,
And I have
se
a
va a
daughter
la
that she's
escuela
very sensitive. She goes to
todos
school
los días
every single day
con dolor de estómago.
with a stomach ache.
Es un estrés bastante grande por el que yo no
It's a
quiero que mi hija
very
siga
large
pasando.
stress that my daughter is going through, and I don't want her to go through this anymore.
El 15 de septiembre hubo un incidente grande
There was
que
a
yo
long incident
presencié
the 15th of September that I was present,
ella agredió verbalmente a un niño.
and she was attacked a child, a boy, verbally.
Hice mi queja con el director.
And I brought forth my complaint towards the director or the principal.
Solamente me dijo que se exaltó, me exalté.
They said that I was excited or she was excited.
Junté cartas de padres.
And I gathered letters from parents.
Quiero que por favor mi voz sea escuchada y se haga algo.
And I plead that my voice will be heard.
Y esto
and
no
that you
siga
do something
pasando.
about it, so that this will not go on any longer.
Puedo hablar de esto toda la noche porque hay muchos comentarios
A lot of comments,
negativos,
and they're negative,
demasiados,
too many,
para ser hablados en una sola noche.
to be spoken in one night.
Queremos que se remueva la persona de su cargo
We would like to have this person be removed from their job,
y también que necesitamos otro director.
and we also need another director or principal.
porque parece ser que es amigo de ella.
It seems that,
We have to hear you. So
oh,
go
that,
back and forth, yes.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
And that they're requesting that the principal would be removed from position as well, because it seems that he's a friend of hers.
Si yo necesito juntar más cartas para remover al principal, yo lo puedo hacer.
And if I have to gather more letters to remove the principal, I could do so.
Estas cartas son poquitas porque no he hablado con todos los padres. Han sido pocos los padres por los que he hablado.
These are just a few letters that I gather because I just been able to speak to a few parents.
Pero yo puedo, créanme, porque tenemos unión y podemos juntar mucho más cartas de más padres si nosotros nos ponemos al frente de la escuela a reclamar. Sí se puede.
And we have a union, and we know that we could get more letters, and we could stand in front of the school to do so.
Es mucha la depresión de los niños porque hay muchos niños de high school, de Cole Middle School diciendo eso. Ya no es un rumor, ya se sabe por todos que la estamos tratando de remover y están felices porque por fin alguien ha podido alzar la voz.
And this is no longer a rumor. This is something that's well known in the school that she mentioned, and that we would just want her to be removed.
So, hoy por favor les pido a todos que miren el caso porque son el futuro de nuestro mañana, nuestros niños.
Please, I beg you to take a look at this case, and this is the future of our children.
Y como persona que yo vivo aquí en Rialto, yo pago taxes igual que todos los papás, so nosotros somos el cliente y el cliente manda.
And we are the residents in Rialto. We pay taxes. We are the clients, and the client also has a charge or authority.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you. Now, be able to give this to Dr. Montes. Mr. Montes, she has the letter. She's offering it to you.
Dr. Avila?
Or I already did.
Oh, okay.
So, and Mrs. O'Kelly and Mrs. Walker, I could also get you a package for you as well.
Okay,
If
thank
you
you.
just give me a few time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Jordan Brown.
Good evening, Superintendent, Board President, and Board members. My name is Jordan Brown, and I'm a senior at Middle College High School in San Bernardino. For the 2015-2016 school year, I have been appointed as the Southern California President for Black Student Union, otherwise known as BSU, which encompasses 5 counties and 50 high schools. My platform as president is to promote cultural awareness among students, to ensure student success, and increase student involvement. I am also the founder of the Middle College High School BSU, where the average GPA of its members is a 4.1. Some of the projects BSU are involved in is a regional leadership conference and several college tour and fairs throughout the year. I'm currently working with Carter High School to establish a BSU chapter there. Also, as the BSU president, I encourage the attendance of the Next Generation Black Student College Prep Experience on November 13th at 9 a.m. through to 1:30 p.m., sponsored by the Black Educators Alliance and Cal State San Bernardino. Black students will be able to check out the campus and get a tour. They'll be able to meet the BSU there, their black faculty and staff, attend a resource fair, and see a step show of the Greek organizations on campus. And more importantly, the students attending the event will be able to apply to the university free of charge. All the district has to do is provide busing, permission slips, and send the seniors with their transcripts, and lunch is also provided. For more questions about the Next Generation College opportunity, I will be handing you guys a flyer. And I look forward to working with the district on increasing numbers of BSUs in the high schools and making them really strong. Thank you so much for your time.
Next, we have Celia Salaya.
Buenas noches, miembros de la mesa directiva, presidente Mr. Montes, superintendente Dr. Ávila, audiencia.
Good evening, members of the board, President Montes, Superintendent Dr. Avila, and audience.
Soy Celia Celaya Sarabia y soy la coordinadora del Grupo Amigos Unidos, Grupo de Apoyo para Padres de Niños Especiales.
My name is Celia Celaya Saravia, coordinator of Friends United. This is a group to support parents with children with special needs.
Y estoy aquí para agradecerle al doctor Ávila y a la mesa directiva por aceptar hacer una junta especial.
And I'm here to give my gratitude or thankfulness to Dr. Avila and the board for setting up a special meeting
para escuchar las preocupaciones que tenemos los padres de educación especial.
You could hear the worries that the parents have regarding the children with special needs.
Y aprovecho para invitar a todos los que quieran acompañarnos. Será el lunes 19 de octubre a las 6:30 de la tarde en el hall de la Iglesia Santa Catalina de Siena en Rialto.
And I'd like to cordially invite you to join us at the church Iglesia Santa Catalina de Siena, and the address is
la dirección es 339 North Sycamore Avenida en Rialto.
And the address is 339 North Sycamore Avenue in Rialto.
Todos son bienvenidos.
Everyone is welcome.
También quiero mencionar que los padres de niños especiales nos sentimos muy orgullosos de algunos maestros de nuestro distrito.
I'd like to mention that we are proud of some of the teachers in our district.
Quiero mencionar a Mr. y Mrs. Vara, a Miss Betty Jones, a Miss Leslie Chambers, también a Mr. Montes, por su ayuda a la familia de Julie Pimentel.
And I'd like to mention such as Mr. and Mrs. Barra, Betty Jones, Leslie Chambers, and also Mr. Montes for helping the Pimentel family, Julie Pimentel's family.
Estudiante del distrito, como saben, que falleció el mes pasado, y a todos los padres y maestros que nos unimos para ayudar un poco a la familia.
And Julie Pimentel, who passed away last month, and also to the parents and teachers that came united to help this family. May God bless you.
También queremos agradecer al doctor de Sousa.
We also want to give our gratitude to Dr. De Sousa
por su apoyo a la educación especial.
For his support to the special needs group.
Dios los bendiga y gracias otra vez por su apoyo.
Once again, God bless you and thank you again for your support.
Is that all for not on the agenda?
We have one, Jessica Martinez, not sure, it's not noted if it's on the agenda or not on the agenda. Jessica, is it on the agenda?
I would like for you guys to, how do you say it? Put more people in yard duty for Warner Elementary School because it's getting really out of hand with the ratio at school. My kid's only been there two years and they've been beat up and they don't call me. It's had to see my son coming home with his stomach hurting or his head hurting because they were kicking him. It's not fair. It's not nice. You guys gotta put somebody out there more strict with these kids. And they have tossed my older son, they flipped him on the concrete. They didn't tell me what they did to the kids. I think they only gave them a little bit of timeout. There needs to be help with these kids outside in yard duty. Really bad. Because my kids, I show them to be fair to everybody. Because we're all together as a family, no matter what. I tell them not to hate nobody because they're not your color. We're all united as one. And I would like for somebody to help out in yard duty at school because it's really bad. They're even throwing rocks at my dogs. I don't know if it's a gang related. They have left notes at my door I don't know if it's a threat because I cannot read their writing, but they gotta do something out there at Warner. It's getting really bad. I would like for you guys to look up on that, please. Yes, I already went with the principal. They always tell me to call the cops, but they gotta do their part too. Thank you.
Thank you for all of the speakers. Next we go to items on the agenda. Any person wishing to speak on items on the agenda will be granted 3 minutes.
We have one. We have Mr. Russell Silva.
Good evening, board members, administration, and viewing audience. My name is Russell Silva. I would like to talk about reference item K7.1. But first, I would like to praise this board for their positive due diligence in reviewing the supporting documents of the FCMAT report and that were presented to the board in January of 2014. And for taking the next steps in doing further investigation, potentially filing and conducting legal civil proceedings on behalf of the district against any firms or individuals requesting payment on any type of wrongful process or fraudulent contracting agreements. I also agree, although you don't need my approval for this, for assigning the law firm of Gutierrez, Fierro, and Erickson to be lead counsel as they perform the initial investigation and are up to speed, so to speak, on the various claims and investigation. But my question is that within resolution number 15-16-22, which is going to be approved under item K7.1, it states that the board also approves payment of the firm for such services and rates as set forth in the district's existing agreement with the firm. Now, for those people not in the viewing audience or who may have forgotten about the agreement that was amended back in January of 2015, there was a list of contractual hourly rates for individuals who were working on the investigation. For clarity, excuse me, why couldn't those rates have been included into the resolution? And on top of that, is the district going to monitor the work by this law firm to make sure that we don't pay them more money than we're actually going to receive? I mean, if this is some of these are going to be civil investigations or civil proceedings that could lead to criminal activity, that's a different story. But if we're going to just look at recovering funds, I would like to not pay more than what we're going to get back. Albert Einstein said, "Nothing happens until something moves." So again, I want to thank this board for their positive move forward in starting with not just with the new superintendent, Dr. Avila, but with their attempts to correct the wrongs from the past. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Silva. Next, we go to C3, comments from Association Executive Board members. First, we'll start with Rialto Education Association.
Good evening, President Montes, members of the board, Dr. Avila, Cabinet. My name is Leslie Chambers, Vice President of the Rialto Education Association, and I am here to thank Dr. Avila and his cabinet for a meeting with our executive board last week. We really appreciated your time, we appreciated your attention, and we look forward to working together to continue to move our district forward and to do what's best for our kids. I'd also like to congratulate Natalie for your position, and we welcome you and look forward to meeting with you and working with you. And just on a personal note, nothing to do with REA, thank you, board, and thank you, Rialto Unified School District, for the gift that you gave the Pimentel family tonight. It cannot be measured what that meant to them, and we just want to thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Chambers. Next, we go to California School Employees Association, CSEA.
Good evening, board members, President Montez, Dr. Avila, all the associate superintendents and audience. A couple of things I'd like to start with is thank you, Dr. Avila, for meeting with my executive board. That was a first time for us, and it was a very, I think, a meeting that was productive, and we thank you for the actions that you have already moved forward with in some of the concerns and things that we did bring to you. Secondly, I would like to welcome Natalie. It was a pleasure interviewing you. I looked forward to that. I'm glad you're here. And we look forward to hearing from you. So that's a great thing also. Now I want to move on to Resolution 151620. Normally this is just a resolution that gets put in the book, and it's one of those, oh, let's just pass all from A to G. And so it doesn't get read. And people don't know that it's in the book. So I would like to take a couple minutes just to read this particular resolution of the Board of the Rialto Unified School District in regards to National School Bus Safety Week and School Bus Driver Appreciation Day. And it's dated October 7th, 2015. Whereas school bus drivers and all school transportation staff, including managers, monitors, trainers, mechanics, dispatchers, make substantial contributions to the future of America and to the development of our nation's young people as knowledgeable, responsible, and productive citizens, and whereas excellence in education is dependent on safe, secure, and peaceful routes to schools and school settings, and whereas the safety and well-being of many students rely on school bus drivers and the school transportation team to get them to and from school and other events in a safe, professional manner, and whereas school bus drivers and all school transportation staff, including managers, monitors, trainers, mechanics, and dispatchers, are an invaluable component of our educational system and have performed an outstanding job transporting our most precious resource, young students. And whereas the third full week in October will be designated as National School Bus Safety Week, and the Friday of that week will be designated as National School Bus Drivers Appreciation Day to promote efforts to provide our entire nation's schools with positive and safe learning climates. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Rialto Unified School District declares October 19th to the 23rd of 2015 as National School Bus Safety Week and Friday, October 23rd as School Bus Drivers Appreciation Day, and encourages all teachers, support staff, and students to participate in appropriate ceremonies, programs, and activities. I thank you for this resolution on behalf of the bus drivers. They are more than deserving of such a resolution. And I would also like to ask that next October in our agendas that we also include the Customer Service Week, because we are now being more and more being brought to the front of being service people. That this week that we are in right now is National Customer Service Week, and we have no resolution for that, and I would really like to have that put in place. And also the nutrition service workers have a national week in the month of October as well. I'm hoping that on the next agenda we'll be able to get them squeezed in here. So for that, I thank you, and on behalf of all of our transportation drivers, they thank you as well.
Next, we go to Rialto School Managers Association. Hearing none. Next, we go to Communication Workers of America.
Good evening.
Little commercial break.
Commercial break. Yes, good evening, Dr. Avila, President Montez, and the rest of the board. There for a while, I thought just because I missed one meeting, I was incognito. I would like to welcome Natalie. I'm trying very hard to get the position that you have established in San Bernardino, but it hasn't happened yet, but they say they're working on it. Quote unquote, it's pending. I would also like to thank Rialto very much for giving us a contract for the subs. That is great. Another good piece of news that I was informed tonight is we are going to have our second training session sometime later on here in the fall, and I'm looking very much forward to that. So I'm very happy that you guys have become very aggressive and you're looking out for the substitutes. And I understand that you don't have too much of a problem with not having enough subs. So that is great, because most of the subs I talk to really like the student body here in Rialto. That's all I have to say. Thank you for such a great job.
Thank you, Mr. Fletcher. Rialto School Managers Association again? No? All right. Next we go to item C4, comments from the superintendent.
Thank you, President Montes. And during my first week in July, I gave the board, my cabinet, and school staff members my word that I would visit all 29 schools in the district. And I wanted to make sure that along with each classroom visit, and that's approximately 1,060 classrooms, of which I have visited 1,040 or so. There were approximately 20 that I didn't have the opportunity to visit for one reason or another. But I do plan to go back and visit those classrooms so that I can be sure that I visited every classroom. I did send a communication to staff today, just sharing my experience during my visits to each of those schools and each of those classrooms. And wow, what a wonderful staff we have district-wide. Lots of great things taking place in those classrooms. But more than that, having the opportunity to meet individual teachers and staff members at every school and getting an opportunity to see the great things that they're doing, listening to some of the concerns that they have, and listening to suggestions on how we can improve the school. This experience, more than any other that I can remember, has been so worthwhile as an administrator and certainly as a superintendent. I want to be able to see what things are happening or not happening in the district so that we can make those adjustments in order to provide our kids the world-class education that they deserve, and the education that I know that our classified staff, our teachers, administrators, and other support staff are currently doing for our kids here in our community and in each of our classrooms. With that, I received a number of treats as I visited schools, from a breakfast burrito at Coursera. It was delicious. Ceviche at Dunn Elementary, along with a superintendent survival kit, which has a lot of emergency snacks in order to keep me going through the day. And I've also received a number of cards and emails of gratitude on behalf of the staff, thanking me for taking the time to visit their classrooms, their schools, and for being out there, being visible, interacting with the kids. I also taught a mini lesson at Myler Continuation School, and that really took me back to when I was an actual classroom teacher. I've always been a teacher. I always feel that I am a teacher, and one of my weaknesses in visiting classrooms is that I become absorbed into the lessons and I can't contain myself, and that is exactly what happened at that school. The subject was very enticing, and before you know it, teacher had me teach in the classroom, and it was a wonderful experience for me. Additionally, on Thursday the 24th, as was mentioned earlier, I did have an opportunity to participate in the CSEA roundtable, and it was a very productive, very positive experience, listening directly from members regarding some of the concerns that they have and some of the suggestions on how to address some of those concerns. I've also visited, as was mentioned earlier, with REA, and that was a very large group, and there were a number of things that were presented to cabinet that we needed to look into. I do want to thank my cabinet for making time. It is part of our service approach to sit down, to listen, to not be judgmental, to process, and then to figure out ways on how we can resolve the issues that are brought before us in order to keep us moving forward and not remain stuck in pointing fingers. Our kids are the ones who benefit or suffer at the end of the day. And as my message, my consistent message has been throughout, to not personalize anything and focus on our children. On September the 29th, I was invited by Mrs. Joanne Gilbert to participate in Rialto's Toastmasters Club open house at Carol's Restaurant at 7 in the morning. I attended, and it was a breathtaking experience. I have visited with many clubs here in the community of Rialto, but this one really stood out for the focus of the meetings, which is really to support its members in public speaking. They have activities where they select members and topics and a word of the day that then has to be used as members are called and asked to respond to a particular topic. And so it really puts people on the spot, but it assists them to remove those jitters that we normally get as when speaking in public. And as you might know or not, 95% of human beings have difficulties with public speaking. That is one of the biggest fears, more than flying or more than traveling on a train. Public speaking really gets under people's skin. But I had that opportunity, and what a wonderful opportunity. So thank you, Ms. Joanne Gilbert. On the 29th of September, I attended the Task Force Student Model meeting on how to address the needs of African American students. But more than meeting the needs of African American students, this particular model simply focuses on how we can improve our schools to benefit all students. This is a wonderful opportunity for me to look into. It is promoted by the county. I do have plans to align to this particular model. Many of the ideas that I'm bringing to the district, they align well because they really focus on best practices that are grounded in research and tailored to the particular needs of the students in a given community, in this case, the kids of Rialto. So I really look forward to working with a task force that I will put together in making sure that we implement the principles of this particular model that's already there for us. This past weekend, I did attend the California Latino School Board Members Association's Unity Conference in Del Mar. Had a wonderful opportunity to meet great dynamic board members and superintendents and other staff members there. We did attend I attended in particular a number of sessions that were really revealing on some of the best practices and model programs that are taking place in other districts, and that I know that we are very capable of equaling here in Rialto and even doing a much better job. But it was a great opportunity to visit outside of Rialto to see what other districts are doing and take some of those concepts and ideas to bring them here, nurture them, and have them become our own programs here. This afternoon, I had the pleasure of being a guest speaker at the Women's Club of Rialto. I was invited by President Sharon Hughes. The club meets at the first Wednesday of each month at the clubhouse at 11 a.m., between 11 a.m. and 1:30. And I know that Board Member Ms. O'Kelly is a member, as well as Linda Silva out in the audience is also a member, and I saw her there today. And it was a wonderful experience to really hear the vibrant and energetic and beautiful members of the Women's Club of Rialto and all that they really have to offer. So thank you for that. They are having a concert on Saturday, November 7th at 3 p.m. From 3 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. Tickets will be at $20. The event will be held at the Rialto Senior Center. The purpose of the concert is to raise scholarship money for our students here in the Rialto Unified School District. So I do encourage you to please, if you cannot attend, at the very least purchase a ticket, because it goes directly to scholarships for our own kids. Yesterday, I had the pleasure of meeting with Coursera teacher, Mr. Mike Toomey. So, Mr. Toomey, if you're out there, thank you for taking the time to come here. He did meet with me to present a concept, an idea, a plan that I believe will be beneficial to our students and really increase the college and career readiness opportunity for all of our students. So I will take this concept, it's his idea, and we're going to do everything that we can to implement and have it benefit our kids beginning this year. Earlier today, I was scheduled to be interviewed by an 11th grade student, Luis Armendariz at Rialto High School. He wanted to interview me because he has been in the district 2 weeks. He comes from LA, and he wants to be a superintendent. In LA, he reached out to various superintendents and nobody gave him the time of day. So when he came here, the first thing he did was go on our website, see who the superintendent was, call Nancy, my secretary, and scheduled an interview for me. So I went there, and the kid has a story to tell. And I will be speaking with him periodically to guide him and to encourage him to do the right thing. And as I told him, Luis, if you're out there, don't let anyone out in the community or in our district discourage you from reaching your dream. It's only you that can determine whether you reach it or not. So keep it up, and we'll be in touch. And finally, again, I would like to end my report with our alumni report. Tonight we want to highlight Juan Herrera, who is a proud graduate of Rialto High School class of 2010. He majored in political science and graduated from Cal State San Bernardino, where he is now currently working in the president's office in government relations. Thank you, Juan, for being a shining star in our district. We are very proud of your success.
Thank you, Dr. Avila.
He graduated high school in 2010. He's already graduated college.
Yep.
You go. Awesome.
Yeah. Next, we go to comments from members of the Board of Education.
Oh. I'm thinking it's 2012.
Look.
No, my brain.
And first,
never mind.
First, we will begin with our student board member. If you'd like to say something again. All right. Next, we go to board member Mr. Martinez. I'm sorry.
Thank you, President Montez. First of all, and most importantly, welcome. Welcome to the board, Natalie. Ms. Baca. Or as one of our other board members are you a Ms. or a Miss? Miss. Okay. All right. Either one is great. It has been a long wait for you. The board has been without a student board member, and Ron Fletcher, CWA, I totally agree with you. San Bernardino could use this. Look at our board policy. I'll be happy to get it. Just see me afterwards or get my contact information from the office and be happy to get it to you. The board policy on student board members is in there, and that way you'll be able to help. And thank you for continuing to do that. The reference K7.1 is going to be controversial for us.
With all due respect, could we save the agenda items for agenda time?
That is fine. Where I wanted to go with that is to thank the public for already addressing everything I had to say. They had the exact same concerns, and I'll reserve the rest as you requested. Other than that, retired life is good. Every day is a Saturday. President Montez.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez. Next, we go to Mr. Joe Ayala.
Well, thank you, President Montez, and I'll start by saying good evening, staff and parents. And I too want to congratulate Natalie Baca for weathering the pressure and all the steps that she had to go through to find success. This board here greatly appreciates having a student board member. Without a student board member's voice is like missing one of the legs in a three-legged stool. And so we're real grateful to have that input. I also want to talk a little bit about balance in one's life, because I try to share something with my minute or two and maybe make a difference or help somebody out there. And, you know, to start with, you know, we have to give thanks to God and live up to our faith and believe in our family. We have to go to work. Some of us are retired, but we find things to do that are positive. Our friends are important. Don't ignore your friends. Education is a lifelong journey. It's not ends when you finish high school or you graduate from college. It's a lifelong experience. And part of this education that kind of want to share a little bit involves communication. And communication, I guess you could say, is good communication is 90% listening, not the other way around. Most of the time, you know, we don't communicate well because something goes wrong, and I will share personal experiences. Your pride gets in the way, and when your pride gets in the way, it clouds the vision and the path that we need to stay on. We all get disappointed at some point in time, and then the pride comes back. Yes, it's good to be proud, you know, especially you're in the service and you're working as a team and you're gonna forge forward, but most of the time it hinders us from seeing what the truth is and what the clarity is that we need to have in our hearts. If we just have the patience to listen and find the opportunity to discuss what went wrong with the entity or the individuals that have hurt us. Most of the time it can be resolved. But what happens is when we're hurt, we change that hurt into anger. And when we get angry, then we get cloudy again and we make poor decisions. So I beg you, with your children, with your jobs, you know, try to become better listeners. Try to find those opportunities to listen and find those opportunities to communicate with those individuals that have hurt you a little bit. Because ultimately, you know, we want to be known as people who are fair and respectful, not only for our staff, but for our kids. We want them to understand those values. Tonight, I'll end by sharing that there's nothing worse that I can think of in this world than to lose a loved one, especially a child. We are not programmed to lose a child. So getting back to the Pimentel family and the priorities and the balance in life, I think of God, and I will use him, and I hope that, you know, he gives them what that family needs to move forward, because I just can't even imagine what it would be like to go through the loss of a child. And so we love everybody here, we care about you, and remember, if you've been hurt, you can correct it with good communication. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez. Next we go to Mr. Ayala. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Okay.
Next we go to
Mr. Walker.
No.
Senor Walker. Senor.
Next we go to Miss Dina Walker.
Good evening, everybody. And I want to just first start off saying, glad to have you, Ms. Baca. It has been a long road for you, I know, but the process to get you here has given an opportunity for access for other students, so they'll have the opportunity as well. For those of you who don't know, we were able to amend and change our policy to make sure that all students who are in good standing at their high schools have this opportunity to sit on the board as a student member. It's not thank you, it is because it's monumental. your student position represents all the students of our district. And the majority of our students, although we wish they were, are not 3.0 students involved in ASB. That's such a small, minute group. And now there's an opportunity that students, period, as long as they're in good standing, have an opportunity to serve in that position. And you fit in that category. And so I'm just very glad that your comrades from your other campuses were able to come and also speak to the board about how they felt about it and how they felt they needed it to be more inclusive, and we were able to be responsive as well to that. To all of our, everybody who sat on the board, the interview panel and everything too, thank you, because we wouldn't be here again. So we are looking, I'm saying all that to say, you're here because of student voice. Student voice, which is very integral in student achievement. And we as policymakers have to be able to listen and be able to be open to what you all have to say. And one of those things that I saw in you that day was that you had a voice, your own voice, and also a collective voice for your students. So I look forward to hearing from you and representing the students of our district. So again, thank you, Ms. Baca. The next thing, I just want to say that I've been again with Dr. Avila, Mr. Montes, Nancy O'Kelly. We've been between the African American Task Force for the county, then also down in San Diego for the California Latino Board Members Association Unity Conference. The last week or two has been great. I am a firm believer in being a lifelong learner, so at all times I get opportunity to learn something new to better myself, to better students that I work for, to better the community. I take advantage of it. But one thing I do not do, and as a business owner who also has staff, I do not authorize conferences or anything that if you go and you don't bring anything back to help us, we don't get it authorized. You got one time to go somewhere and not bring a solution back or some other kind of practice to come and help us. Otherwise, we don't use that PD, that professional development money, on that staffer, right? So I am just glad to say all the money has been well spent. I was so excited by especially the conference that we attended in San Diego. I attended every section to have of the workshops, and in every session there was something that we could utilize in Rialto. If we weren't already doing it, that we could even enhance it. And I was very proud to have sit in one workshop, and Dr. Avila was one of the people, one of the models that they said, talk to him because he's already done some of this stuff. So I'm like, yeah, he's from Rialto. That's our boy, right? So it was really great. So just to understand that there are going to be a lot of things that will happen in this district for the betterment of our students and our community and everything. And just glad I'm along for the ride, and hold us accountable. And if you want to ask any of us of what really happened in San Diego, it's not Vegas. We will tell. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Walker. Next, we go to Miss Nancy O'Kelly. Mrs. Nancy O'Kelly.
Yes, MERS. Welcome, Natalie. We are so happy to finally have you here. I was lucky enough to have that seat for 2 years, so I got to sit next to the student board member, and we had a great time. So now you'll have to come over here every now and then so we can catch up. Yes, I also attended the Latino School Boards Association Unity Conference in San Diego, and for one day, I didn't get there for the whole thing, but one of the sessions I went to, I wanted to share with you because I thought it was really interesting. It was a youth leadership symposium. So the room was full of students, which I always love, and they had a panel of 4 successful professionals who were also school board members, and they were answering, they told their stories of their lives and how they made it, and then they were taking questions from the students, and it got very emotional. There was, you know, a young teen mother in the audience who related to a woman on the panel who was a board member, and a lawyer who had also been a teen mother, and she came down from the dais and hugged the young girl, and it was just really, really touching to see the struggles, and that's what they wanted the kids to see. We all struggle, and nobody's just blessed with all this wonderful job and wonderful profession and whatever. It is a struggle, and you often have other challenges aside from just the schooling and everything else. You may have children, whatever, but you don't give up. If this is what you want to do, you have to keep hammering away at it. they gave the kids some wonderful advice, and I just kind of wanted to share this at the meeting tonight. Just a few real simple things. They told the students they had to be resilient. In other words, when they fall, they have to get back up. They can't just say, I can't do this, and give up. That's resiliency. You have to keep going back and keep trying. I used to ask my students, you know, who would get discouraged if they failed a test or something. I said, what happened the first time you tried to walk? And they'd all say, I fell. I said, and what did you do? I got back up. Exactly. So if you have a failing moment, take it as a learning experience, figure out what you did wrong, and get back up and do it again. They also told the students to reach out to elected officials and professionals in fields they were interested in, people who can help them. And so before the students left that day, they were to ask at least 2 people for their business cards, and just to keep those as resources for the future. I thought it was excellent advice. I think kids were totally attentive and interested in what was being said. Their message is si se puede, and ellos pueden. Consuelo Castillo Kickbush was the guest of honor, and I am excited that he will also be the keynote speaker at our very own Parent Summit, which is coming up on October 24th. I also visited Myler High School yesterday, and I have to say I was very impressed with all the improvements and upgrades that have been made to the school since my last visit there was 2 years ago. I want to thank Principal Andy Luna for making the numerous positive changes that have had an extremely positive impact on the campus atmosphere. It's like the campus has come back to life, and I really saw that, and I told him that. It was a completely different place 2 years ago, and I am very, very pleased with what I saw yesterday. I'm very excited by a lot of the things he is doing. And that will be all. Thank you, and have a great night.
Thank you, Ms. Walker.
Ms. O'Kelly.
Just checking. No, but nothing wrong with the little laugh every now and then.
All right.
Thank you, Mrs. O'Kelly. And just to piggyback on the regarding the Unity Conference, it really is a really good and positive and beneficial conference for school board members, superintendents, and administrators to attend. I like to call it a mini CSBA conference. They basically do most of the same things, just in a smaller attendance, smaller version of it, just for the benefit of professional development, the benefit of helping districts network, and really showcasing good programs, effective programs at different schools, at different districts, and learning from each other. We were able to attend workshops that other neighboring school districts held workshops for regarding some of their top programs, and it's very interesting. A lot of good stuff. Not only other districts present, but even law firms give presentations, workshops, different types of professionals, all in regards to anything that can help us. So it's a very good conference, and I want to thank everybody that was able to go. Mrs. O'Kelly, Ms. Walker, Dr. Avila. I think Mr. Ayala usually goes. This year could not attend, and maybe Mr. Martinez one day will be able to witness for himself the benefits of the conference. The other thing I wanted to just remind everyone, it rained a lot, so let's turn off our sprinklers. And I hope the school district turned off our sprinklers, and we didn't see the sprinklers going off while it was raining at the same time.
Right.
So let's just, just want a friendly reminder to keep water on our mind. local communities are now being sent notices by the water companies or water districts, informing them of potential fines or restrictions that are now being imposed. Before we get there, let's do our part as a school district and try to be water wise and continue to look at the best ways to make that transition to more efficient landscaping where possible. I did want to just again thank all of the people, all of the staff members that really came together for the Pimentel family. You know, to go to the fundraiser that they had. I don't know if I spoke about this at the last board meeting or not, but the parents had a taco fundraiser, and the line was just all the way around the neighborhood, and teachers and parents and neighbors from all over just all night long came to help and support, and the ones that people came and left, but the ones that stayed were the staff, were the Casey staff and the school district staff that know the family and knew the student, and I'll never forget. Is it Mrs. Betty Jones? Leslie, Mrs. Betty Jones, one of her longtime teachers. She's like part of the family. She was right there, like just helping with the serving tacos and whatever she could do with the family, in and out of the house, and it just really every now and then you witness the love of people for people. You witness the harmony when people come together for anything. In this case, the tragedy, and it really warmed my heart to see Mrs. Betty Jones and Miss Chambers and so many people who know this family and knew the student be there for her, and they continue to be there by supporting the family. So again, thank you, board. Thank you, Dr. Avila and everyone involved in getting this student, because she earned it. She earned it. Getting the student this diploma. It's my understanding she was supposed to walk with her peers in June for graduations, and she was just going to finish up some more classes by December. And unfortunately, she left us sooner, but being so close, she definitely deserved it. Also, I want to congratulate again Miss Natalie Baca. Welcome to the school board. Under different times, under different circumstances, being here at these meetings was not always so peaceful. Was not always so positive. So I'm glad and very happy that you are joining us at a very good time right now in our district and on our school board. And what better way to join us than to join us the process that you followed, the determination that you proved to the district and to this community that you wanted to be a student board member, and you followed the strict, comprehensive process that was put in place years ago to get on the school board, and you made it. You had an election. You were elected by your student body. Before you had a runoff, you had to go through an interview process. You had to meet certain requirements, and I congratulate you for doing all of that and now joining us here on the board. So congratulations again, and congratulations to your family. I'm sure they're very proud of you. Just one quick word of advice: look up the board bylaws for student board members, and you have everything you need right there. So welcome again. Last but not least, I apologize again, Mr. Ayala. I truly do. And we are ready to rock and roll now. So thank you, and thank you all the parents who came here today to share the concerns. Gracias. Thank you. Next we go to item D, public hearing. We need to open public hearing. Do we have a motion to open?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Any person wishing to speak on the item on public hearing agenda will be granted 3 minutes. The item for public hearing is the Williams Settlement Legislation Quarterly Uniform Complaint Report Summary covering July through September 2015. Do we have any person here tonight wishing to speak on this public hearing?
I'd like to make a quick comment on it. Thank you to CSCA, to our maintenance crew. I don't know if we still have the roving crew to deal with all this, but thanks to them and the oversight of the superintendent, there's nothing to report. And a bunch of zeros to report. So it's all good. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we need a motion to close public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next, we go to consent calendar items. All items on the consent calendar will be acted upon in one motion unless pulled by Board of Education members or the superintendent. And the consent calendar items will be referenced E through J. Do we have a motion to approve items E through J?
So moved.
Second. Except I have a poll.
Okay. What item would you like to pull?
F6.
F6. Just that item?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else? Do we have a motion to approve all items E through J except for F6?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
On preferential vote by student board member?
Aye.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next we go to item F6.
Yes, this board policy states that the superintendent or designee shall create a model discipline matrix that lists violations and the consequences for each as allowed by law. Site-level disciplinary rules are to be included in the district's comprehensive safety plan. Have we developed this model matrix? How is PBIS integrated into the model? And are we working with site APs and principals to develop this plan?
I think we are in the process of implementing PBIS right now, and I don't think the matrix has been fully developed, Mrs. O'Kelly, but we can look into it, you know.
Well, I think it would be a good idea if there was some consistency
Right.
at the secondary level in particular in terms of discipline procedures, and that the schools were following the same thing instead of everybody doing their own thing. So.
The schools all have a code of conduct that comes out from the CWA office, and I'll double check on if it's consistent and if there's. We used to post the matrix in the classrooms before, so everyone knew what the consequences were. So I will double check on that.
Well, and they have to be listed as possible consequences,
Right.
because each case is individual and has to be considered that way. But it just said that it's supposed to. It made it sound like it's supposed to start at the district level.
And
I
Ms.
don't-
Brantley's here, so I'll let her go up to the podium to answer that.
Good evening. I apologize for getting here a little late. Angela Brantley, Senior Director for Student Services. We do have a matrix that we developed probably about 4 years ago that we worked with the administrators. And again, it was kind of a menu. We
Right.
went through each of the ed codes, which ones were safety issues, which ones were not. If it was a first offense, if they were K through third graders versus a fourth or fifth grader, what have you. We did revise it about 2 years ago when ed code started changing, whether kids could be suspended at the first time and the K violations and things of that nature. But we are looking at revamping it again.
Okay.
Mr. Buckner and I are working with the APs at the middle school and high school, namely,
Right.
to kind of develop some other procedures because, you know, do you have to do 5 days? Did you do 3 days? What constitute the choice to do 5 days versus 3 or 1 day? So all of those things as we present information to our administrators about the instructional days that are being lost, not just the fact that a kid had 2 days or 2 suspensions, but how many days of instruction are they being losing with those suspensions. So we're in that process, and PBIS is definitely supporting the decisions that we're making, and we're collaborating with the school sites as we're doing that. So I hope
Well, I think if
answered
they
your question.
successfully implement PBIS and focus on the expected behaviors in a positive manner, instead of constantly hammering on what's going to happen, you know, if you do this and if you do that, we have to change that
The culture, yeah.
culture, yes.
Exactly. That's what we're doing. So we have the 13 schools that are now in Tier 2 of PBIS, and we have 8 schools that we brought on this year that are in Tier 1. So we only have 6 schools left, and we definitely, we hired the PBIS coordinator, who's an administrator who will have full time to focus on that. So you're right, Mrs. O'Kelly, the attention has to be on the proactive means and the cultural change on our campuses about teaching kids the expectations and not necessarily believing that they come already knowing what to do. So
Right.
we go in and teach them, we model it, we reinforce those behaviors, and of course we correct the behaviors that we don't want to have. But we are trying to get on the same page in terms of when you have to provide that consequence, what's appropriate,
Exactly.
and being
Okay.
consistent. So we are working on it.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
And President Montes, just to add that part of this dialogue will include the removal of our citation program as we explore productive consequences that will benefit students and not necessarily be punitive, and certainly not be a financial hit, or ways that kind of gear them towards the juvenile justice system. So this is part of the dialogue. We haven't had an opportunity to meet with the principals. I do want to hear their input before making a final decision.
Just in reference to that, as far as our overall discipline matrix that will be created and as a model for or guidance for our administrators, are we going to be able to see that as a board before it's actually implemented? And then hopefully, then that's a yes. Okay, excellent. And then also too, although PBIS is one that's kind of on the beforehand, the preventative side, definitely make sure that we're looking into restorative justice as well for the aftermath. So what that looks like. So just to keep that kind of framework in mind.
Yep.
Thank you, and thank you, Ms. Walker, for bringing those concerns beforehand too, and thank you, Dr. Avila, for the update on that. So, any more questions or concerns regarding F6?
No. Move to approve F6.
Do we have
Second.
a preferential vote by a student board member?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We next go to item K, items K, discussion action items. And per policy, we have to read every individual item. First item K1 is to ratify an agreement with Protocol Agency, Inc., a professional staffing agency to provide speech and language therapists effective September 28, 2015 through June 30th, 2016. The reference is K1.1. Do we have a motion to approve item K1?
Move to approve?
Second, but I have discussion. Want me to go ahead and discuss? Okay. I'd like to know how many therapists we will be getting upon approval of this item. Will we be able to provide our services to all students who need speech therapy upon approval of this item?
I'll let Erica Johnson address it, but some speech therapists have heavier loads than others, and she can address the numbers.
Hello, good evening, Mr. Montes. I'm Dr. Avila, board members and cabinet. Yes, so we have a total of 22 positions out there. Right now we have 1 contracted. This is a new contract you guys did approve earlier this year to other agencies. Unfortunately, they were not able to give us any other SLPs. So this company came to us and said we have an SLP because we are still short 2 positions. So this will cover 1 position. And so yes, it's covering the services that we currently are providing. And then we're still hoping for 1 more. We're actually in the process of possibly interviewing another district employee employed SLP. So we're really excited about that.
Okay, so it should bring us up to speed, in other words, right?
Yes, correct. Yes, so
Okay.
it's only one SLP that we're going with this agency, and she already started, and so she is providing those services for the 2 sites that we need her to cover speech therapy services for.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments, concerns?
Just want to think, it's just making me think about, about growing our own, and that actually was one of the topics too at the conference this weekend, about how we put people in professional positions, but we groom our own people first out of our schools and our school districts from there. And I know we had brought that up before at some point. I don't know if that was while you were here, Dr. Avila, or not, about is there some kind of way that we can figure out what, from our personnel department, figure out some kind of internship or pipeline program that we're going to partner with one, 2, or 3 of the local universities around the speech therapists, and not try to go get them when they're graduating, because then they're competitive, but really try to figure that out. Are we, and is that a possibility? How would we even go about that, to looking into that?
That's something that we can do, and we can reach out to the universities to see which universities offer these programs in order for us to establish that relationship.
Yeah, because they're...
And Ms. Walker,
Yes.
Erica Johnson is actually a proud graduate from Rialto schools.
Yay! We need more of you.
Actually, he just sent that.
I'm just saying one more thing, and I'm not sure Mr. Halderson was aware, but we are building that relationship with the University of Redlands. They just reached out to me today, and Mr. Rogers and one of their staff members and personnel is working with the person who's going to be putting the graduate students for their student teaching hours in spring. So that's where I was like, oh yes, because that's one way to recruit those SLPs right when they are ready and looking for a job in May or March, really.
Right.
Okay.
Awesome.
Excellent. Thank you.
I'll go ahead and call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, we go to item K2, to approve an agreement with the San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools to provide board workshops from October 8th, 2015 through June 30th, 2016.
Move to approve?
Second.
Any comments or discussion? I just want to say that, again, I repeat from earlier, I'm a big believer that, like Ms. Walker, we're lifelong learners, and as a board, to have workshops and to have our own workshops here, whether people come and give us training here, or whether we go to workshops at the CSBA or other conferences, is very important, because that's where we get our professional development, really.
Right.
That's where we get a lot of information that it's useful. That's where we learn about many things that we don't know about, or that we can better be acquainted with. Not to steer too much off the topic, but just because this is gonna be paid for by this district, by the district, and there's funds allocated for this, but I just want to share that State Superintendent Tom Torlakson attended the Unity Conference this past weekend, and was one of the guest speakers. And he gave, after he spoke, he gave an opportunity for school board members or superintendents or any school staff to make some comments or ask some questions. And one of the things that I asked him, I was the last person to be able to ask a question, is I stood up and I asked them, what can the state do? What can the state superintendent and the state board of education, what can they do to help us receive funding specifically for board development, for professional development for board members? We have professional development for administrators, we have professional development for teachers, we have professional development for a variety of professionals and for our districts. But sometimes as board members we feel, well, we don't want to spend too much on training ourselves when we have so many things we need to do for the students, right? Or for programs or for staff. But I asked him, I said, since you're a state superintendent and you know the importance of having knowledgeable board members, well-developed board members to better serve our communities, to better serve our districts, to govern more efficiently, what can you do to help us? So he did mention that it was a good idea. He agrees. You know, I think nobody can argue that regardless of your background, regardless of your education, regardless of your profession, it doesn't help to be more knowledgeable as a board member. And somebody did mention a Masters of Governance for board members program, which I'm going to be looking at. But if the state is willing to allocate some funds out of their pocket specifically for board training, hey, that'd be awesome.
Right.
So just with that, any more comments regarding this item for board workshops? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item K3, approve the use of California Multiple Award Schedules, contract number 4-06-78-0031A for the purchase, lease of equipment, supplies, accessories related to services and maintenance for fiscal years 2015 through 2016 and 2016 through 2017 for the Eisenhower High School Stadium reconstruction project.
Move to approve.
Second. Absolutely.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. O'Kelly. Very energetic motion there.
Passionate.
Next, we go to item K4, to approve an agreement with ATI Architects and Engineers to continue architectural services for the new condensed natural gas fueling station.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next, we go to item K6, approve an agreement with Educational Achievement Services, Inc. to provide the services of Lieutenant Colonel Consuelo Castillo Kickbush,
I love that.
U.S. Army retired, let me say that one more time, Lieutenant Colonel Consuelo Castillo Kickbush, U.S. Army retired, as the keynote speaker for the 2015 Parent Summit.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next, we go to item K6, approve an agreement with Michael F. Escalante to provide coaching and support services to the superintendent for the period October 8th, 2015 through June 30th, 2016.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next, we go to item K7, adopt resolution number 15-16-22 to appoint the firm of Gutierrez, Fierro, and Erickson, a professional corporation, as the district's prosecuting authority.
Move to approve.
Thank you, Ms. O'Kelly.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Ayala. Do we have any?
Discussion.
Okay.
Okay, many of my concerns have already been voiced, but I am concerned that we are not squandering taxpayer monies paying attorneys' fees. So I really ask, what are the percentages towards being reimbursed rather than just winning a judgment and not being able to collect? So that is the bottom line that we need to really look at. If I were having to spend my own money, my family's money, I would not move forward. I ask the board to consider this. Would you vote the same if you were spending your family's money? I don't want to stand in the way of the board, though.
I do feel strongly after what went on in this district that we have to make a stand and say that we're not going to take that, we're not going to be treated like that, we're not going to be robbed like that, and this is the way to do it, and we will carefully monitor every expenditure and versus the amount of money that is reclaimed.
Understood. And I would say that monitoring isn't going to do any good if we cannot collect.
Again, we have to try. We have to stand up for a principle. of what happened here.
Sure.
Okay.
Any further comments or discussion?
Good.
Alrighty. Back to K7. Do we have a motion? We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That's 3.
Abstain.
Any abstentions?
Aye.
One abstention.
2.
2 abstentions. Motion carries. Next we go to item L.
Move to adjourn the meeting.
And thank you, Ms. O'Kelly. I was going to ask for student board member to make the motion, but since you made the first motion,
sorry, Natalie.
Natalie can second it. Thank you, Natalie. All in favor?
Aye.
Time.
Time is 8:51. This meeting is adjourned.